Good morning. My name is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. When we look at the various spiritual paths, we find some similarities. Among those who consider themselves fundamentalists, there's often the belief, if not outright pursuit, of magical powers. For instance, when we read in the New Testament Gospels, we see Jesus healing the sick, raising the dead, multiplying food, and walking on water. In some of the more apocryphal Buddhist literature, we see some miracles attributed to Buddha, such as flying. Other shastras and tantras also talk about healing the sick, walking through walls, manifesting objects out of thin air, and the like. How are we to understand this? It helps to understand it in terms of yang and yin. Yang focuses often upon the external. Yin focuses often upon the internal. So typically fundamentalists have a yang point of view, and they can, not all, but many can put great stock in external manifestations of spiritual greatness. Why, even in America, various forms of Pentecostalism, Foursquareism, evangelicalism, and charismatic Christianity focus upon the speaking of tongues, as well as healing, the ability to translate, and prophesy, amongst others. However, when we look at Christian scripture in the New Testament, such as the first letter from Paul the Apostle to the Corinthians, he actually takes a dim view of that which he criticized them for being overly preoccupied with. According to the writings either of Paul the Apostle or attributed to Paul the Apostle or transmitted through Paul the Apostle, the external trappings are but a dim reflection of the inner attainments of love. And an entire chapter of that rather lengthy letter to the church in Corinth is dedicated to the subject of love. It begins in a very sober way. And if we understand it, it can chill our blood. It says, if one does not have love, one has nothing. And if we let that word nothing sink in the context of the Christian scriptures, that would include propitiation of the sins and salvation itself. So high was the priority of love, the internal work, as opposed to the external work. Upon the path yin, such as described in the Tao Te Ching, we focus on the inside, on the metaphoric miracle of simplicity, of being able to practice centered spontaneity and vulnerability and yielding and non-conceptuality so well that one is able to practice them spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. That is the real miracle. The most important miracle is the inner transformation. I do not know everything about everything. I consider, even though, oopsie, I'm a lot of focus here. Let's see here, camera, can you There we go. Even though I consider myself a science groupie, I do not know everything about cosmology or particle physics or chemistry or physics or metaphysics or anything like that. So is it possible that miracles could happen? Maybe, who knows? It's not my job to believe or disbelieve. But I choose to place the majority of my energy upon the inner alchemy of simplicity, patience, and compassion. And I invite you to do likewise. Below the video is a button that reads Show More. If you click that, you can gain access to all kinds of free stuff that you might find helpful upon your journey on the spiritual path. Whatever comes, let it come. Whatever stays, let it stay. Whatever goes, let it go.